found the Texas Steampunk Connection, your source for steampunk event information in the great free state of Texas.
We also discuss books, films, comics, and games.
Also, we enjoy visiting with the local steampunk luminaries.
I'm Flavio.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Thax,
your hosts.
Thank you for tuning in, and now on to the episode.
Hello, and welcome to the Texas Steampunk Connection, Season 2, Episode 14. Now, I know it's probably been about 2 weeks, but man, it feels like it's been longer. Anyway, so how's everybody doing?
I think it has been longer.
But possibly. I lost track of time.
It's summer, and it's easy to, hole up in your house and stay away from the heat. There really hasn't been a lot going on to talk about.
It's so damn hot outside.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, today's actually not as bad, but it's still hot.
We're getting some rain coming in.
Speaking of not a lot going on, I still tried to go to a convention this weekend. Yesterday, in fact. It was a Bell County Comic Convention. Apparently, it was their first one they tried.
That's up near Killeen. So
yes,
you had a little drive.
Killeen. It's about 30 minutes away. However, man, you can tell it was a first-year convention. It was very badly organized.
Why's that?
I didn't get in.
Oh,
what?
no.
Because it was crazy. I drove up.
No riffraff?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in because I'm riffraff. That's what it is. I wasn't in my steampunk garb, so I just looked like an ordinary person. But it was just bad. I drive up, and I already see a long-ass line. I mean, the building's a round building, so the line was practically going around to the other side, like back of the building. But there was construction, so it veered off into the parking lot. So I park in that area. I get out of my car. I'm looking at it, and next thing I know, the line is behind my car. So I can't even back out if I wanted to, unless I wanted to hurt some people. And I was tempted. It was hot, and I'm sweating, and I'm standing there, and I stand in line.
But you've already bought tickets, right?
Yes, I have pre-bought tickets.
Okay.
And I see people with pre-bought tickets, and I see people with wristbands, and I see people without wristbands, and I don't know. And people are like, everyone just got in line, so I got in line with them because I'm cattle. I just got in line. I followed the line, and I get there, and I started hearing people talking, and I see somebody come up with wristbands, hand them to his friends behind me, and say, well, this is the line to get in. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what's happening here. So I get out of line, losing my place. I go check out the front. There's two lines. Apparently I was in the wrong line. I think. I'm not sure. Because there's still people in line without wristbands and people in line with wristbands. And I don't know what's going on. I see another line that splits into 4 windows that says pre-bought tickets. That's not the line I was in. That line went in a different direction, straight into the parking lot, and another side of the parking lot. In the sun. No shade. Just terrible.
Sounds like they just didn't have enough people.
Yeah.
Taking tickets and directing traffic.
Right. And at that point, I had to use the restroom. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get inside to use the restroom. It's too long a line. So I get back in my car, get out of there, go find a place, buy some soda, and just chill out of my car for a while. Maybe, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, I chill out of my car. I drive back, repark somewhere else. And the line's twice as long as it was when I left. Like, holy crap. Oh, I didn't know what to do. I was getting frustrated. I sat in my car again for a while because I did not want to stand in the sun. I saw some steampunks there. so
there were steampunks at this convention.
There, yes. I don't know if there was any. I don't know if there was any steampunk tracks. Anything going on inside those steampunk, but there were people dressed in steampunk there,
standing in the parking lot, wilting into a puddle.
Yes, but I did see them online on their Facebook. They were from the Central Steampunk group.
The what?
The Texas Central Texas Steampunk Group.
Good for you.
Them people. Good
job.
They got in. I saw them. They had pictures on the inside, so they actually got in. Good for you guys.
I hope they had a good time.
But I waited for a while. Every time I looked at the line, it just seemed like it got longer and longer to get in. And I said, screw it, and I left. So I came here.
That reminds me of like 3 years ago when we went to Comic Palooza
in Houston.
And
that was a crap show.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
The line went on forever and ever and ever.
Huge ass line outside.
And even if you left and wanted to come back, you couldn't come back through any door.
They funneled you to a certain door.
You had to go through a certain door where the line was. and I could go on and on about this event. It's like the schedule is all screwed up.
Yeah, nobody was where they were supposed to be.
There was a nice app that told you where things were supposed to be, and
Which
if things
they did not
changed,
update.
the app could be changed quickly, and everyone would know. Except
They didn't update the app.
no.
No, you would just get to where you were supposed to be, and there would be like a handwritten note
If you're
scribbled
lucky,
on the
yeah.
door with some tape saying,
Not here.
this has been postponed, or this has been moved to, the complete other side of the building, which is miles away.
Or we already did this already. We did it earlier. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But I got that to work for me at least one night. So the dealer's room was supposed to close at 6, but I like to shop.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 till 6. I'm like, I'm going to go in there anyway. And I bet it doesn't close. And it didn't.
Right, yeah,
I got another like 2 hours in there.
Yeah, I assume at that point, as long as there's still people in there buying stuff, they're not going to go.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some conventions where vendors start packing up early because there's not enough people in there buying stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've been to conventions like that.
Thankfully, that was the year that we had the hotel within walking distance
Yeah, it
of the
was right
Comic
there,
Palooza.
yeah.
So I think I just walked back to the hotel and pouted in the room.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like I said, the long ass line outside, and it's like once we finally got in the door, we're like, okay, but then there was another long ass line inside. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, you think you finally made it, and you realize that was just the beginning of the line. We haven't been back to that convention since.
No, we haven't. I don't think there's been a whole lot of steampunk stuff going on.
Take that as notice, Bell County Comic Con. You only get one shot at this.
I wanted to meet Flash Gordon. He was going to be there from the movie Flash Gordon.
He probably didn't get in.
I figured by the time I got in, he'd be on his lunch break, and then he had like a 2:00, picture opportunity thing with the fans, who had to, but those tickets had to be bought in advance as well.
Of course.
So even if I wanted to get his autograph normally, like at his table or whatever, he'd be off taking pictures somewhere. So I probably would have never got to see him.
He must be like 87 years old by now, right?
He looks good in his picture, though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he looks kind of buff.
Well, good for him.
So,
this it feels to me like symptoms of a bigger problem with comic conventions these days as compared to what I remember.
Yeah, they're a lot different.
25 years ago.
They're a lot different now.
Conventions were hosted at colleges by student organizations because they liked comics or fandom generally.
Right. It wasn't like a huge blowout of everything going on at the same time kind of thing.
They were smaller, but they weren't nobody was in it just to make money.
They were celebrating the fandom.
Wizard World didn't exist, and they didn't host big blowout conventions where dealers had to pay $1,000 or more to vend there, and you didn't have to pay $80 or more for the weekend. It was, the costs were there to pay the facilities,
right.
and nobody was making any money at these things, and everybody could afford to go, and it just felt different. It was super different.
And even I remember going in San Antonio. There were Star Trek conventions at least once or twice a year, and they were tiny. They had the stars from the shows show up for autographs and everything as well, and they had a few panels here and there, but it wasn't like a big craziness where you couldn't barely move when you're inside with everybody.
Right.
It wasn't overly packed, and I don't know if it's because there wasn't any there's always Star Trek fans. There's always been Star Trek fans. But it wasn't a whole craziness thing. I had no problem getting in line, getting autographs, and any of that stuff. And they had really.
All right, everybody, stop liking what we like and stop going to the things that we like to go to.
Yeah, keep it calm, man. Keep it calm.
I don't think that's the problem. I'm all for inclusiveness. I think it's the money making focus. Let's run a convention so we can make a ton of loot. Yeah. And once we've got people's tickets, especially recently, I've heard stories about conventions that were just shit shows. But
we went
once
to San Antonio recently, well, not recently, a couple years ago in the Wonderland Mall.
Yeah, that wasn't that great either. But worse than we've ever been to, like conventions where the guests just didn't get picked up at their hotels.
Yeah.
And people were pissed off, and in an effort to make people happy, they gave them free entry to the ball pit.
Whatever that. What?
That's like at Chuck E. Cheese, he's got that pit full of balls. I mean, come on!
I would not get into a ball pit on a dare. That thing is full of fecal bacteria.
Craziness.
Well,
No, just no.
And it just feels like a lot of organizers are in it for the money. A few that you can Google conventions that just were not actually supported. They took the money and they ran. Once they got the ticket sales, they were out of there. Their interest in actually running a convention was gone. I don't know. I'm guessing, but I can't figure out, how can you be so stupid?
Yeah, I'm being nice. I'm gonna give the Bell County Expo Center the benefit of the doubt. So they weren't expecting that huge a turnout, even though there were sales in advance tickets. But
the thing is, you can't tell how bad it was. You didn't even get in.
Right. That's how bad it was on the outside. But I mean, I'm not really sure why they didn't wrap the other line around the other side of the building instead of letting it spill out into the parking lot like they did.
No crowd control.
Yeah, because when I left, when I finally decided to leave, there was actually some police officers actually showed up and actually cordoned off the parking lot so cars wouldn't drive through the people that were there. So
we laugh, but that's happened to like South by Southwest.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, so they were finally starting to do that. But even then, I'm sure, why didn't they just redirect the crowd to wrap around the other side of the building, kind of thing,
So that basically sets the tone for this episode of Texas Steampunk Connection.
Bitching and whining.
It's the bitching and whining episode.
It's hot outside. Conventions kind of suck sometimes.
So if you want to complain with us or
let's go to the phones. We don't have phones.
Here we go. What's next on our agenda today?
Well, we noticed, remember Steamy Tech that we met, or we saw them in Vegas?
Yeah, when we were at Steamathon in Vegas,
I think was it Steamathon? Yeah, it was Steamathon.
Yeah, Steamathon 2016.
It was a really cool booth. They had lots of motorized gears and moving parts, blinking lights. All their gears were
motorized and
laser etched wooden pieces. They were really cool.
Yeah, all kinds of shapes. Hearts,
I bought one.
Gears. Yeah, they have all kinds of artistic looking things. But apparently now they're sponsoring a monthly subscription box, or bi-monthly. This is a subscription box that they're offering now.
Oh yeah,
I think they're calling it the Maker Box, or Box of Making.
The Box of Making by Steamy Tech, the new and exclusive kinetic laser cut products to make and love.
So basically, they're offering to every 2 months they'll send you some of their stuff, projects, and you can build it with the instructions and everything you need to build it, as well as access to how-to videos.
They got the laser etched gears and projects to build and play with. They'll send you art supplies and tools for putting it together. And then, you go online and watch their YouTube videos, and they'll tell you how to put it together. It's cool. I mean, we were obviously impressed when we saw it at...
we were mesmerized by most of them. Like, ooh, that's cool.
Erica bought one, and... it's neat. I got excited when I heard about it. The downside it's not a cheap maker box or subscription.
Yeah, it's a little on the pricey side for us, but you get like what they say, like 3 or 4 projects per box. I think it said that on the.
I don't see that
right there.
Oh, every box contains 3 or 4 projects to build. Okay, yeah, you're right. Including some with working gears. So 3 or 4 box projects, and it's every 2 months, and a box at the moment is $79.95. You can buy per box or 3-box prepay or a 6-box prepay. So 6 boxes would be a whole year's worth.
And it's a little bit cheaper if you buy those.
Yeah,
but not by much.
They're a little less expensive by buying in bulk, I guess.
To be fair, if you go to the Steamy Tech Etsy shop, one project can be anywhere from $25 to $40.
Okay.
Or more. So if they're giving you 3 projects, you're getting your money's worth as far as that goes.
Yeah, they say each box will include at least $100 retail value in product. You're getting what you pay for. If this interests you,
Especially if you like building stuff, definitely.
that's a lot of beer money for me. I'll have to. I'm considering it.
At least 1 month to see how it comes out, or what you get, kind of thing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Or are you going to go for the yearly? You're still deciding. I can see that. Okay.
Beer money, man, beer money. But it sounds cool, so I have nothing to bitch about at this point on that regard. This looks like a really cool thing. At least look them up, boxofmaking.com. and see what I see.
Yeah, or Steamy Tech on Facebook, I believe. They'll mention it a few times.
Like them on Facebook. They're pretty cool.
And they're very nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real sweet.
Yeah, Vegas. I missed that time.
Yeah. Me too.
Doc Phineas, please put it on another convention. Please.
Yeah, they didn't have it this year because the hotel was at Main Street Station. The hotel it was hosted at was being renovated.
I'm just afraid he's having more fun going to other people's conventions because I'm always seeing him online. He's always going on live on Facebook or wherever he's at. And
Doc Phineas never stops having a good time. His whole life is just like one big party.
Yeah, he's out there having all kinds of fun. So he's probably going to have more fun doing that than putting on another convention.
Putting on a convention, as we have seen, is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But
we'd love to come back and do Steamathon.
We can go to the convention.
I want to meet the people. I want to hang out with.
Yeah, we made a lot of friends in Vegas.
That was a really good convention for meeting people, and everybody that we met was just awesome. And we miss all of you terribly.
You know what I'm thinking? I think I mentioned this when we had dinner the other night. With that, if that one doesn't happen, then next year we need to just pick a convention somewhere and decide, let's go to this one.
And just
try another steampunk convention somewhere else.
All the Steamathon peeps just meet up at
a different convention. Whether it be Steamposium in Seattle or Denver Motor City Motor City Con or whatever they call it there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we have to pick a convention somewhere and just go
and just make sure that we all plan to be there.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Well, you remember we were talking to our Canadian friend on the last cruise we were on, and she told us about that cowboy festival in Canada.
We should just invade it? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
I can't imagine.
I've never been to Canada.
Canadian cowboys?
It's Canadians dressed up as what they think cowboys are.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
I've actually met some Canadians that were shocked and surprised that the Alamo is in the middle of a city. They actually thought it was out in, like in the movies.
Well, the movie set of the Alamo is out in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. I don't think it's open anymore. I don't think they let people go there anymore. It used to be visitable.
Yeah, the movie set's... Yeah, the movie set is gone, but the real Alamo is still...
It's right smack dab in the middle of downtown San Antonio.
Quite accessible, yes.
But I remember I've met some Canadians that were shocked and surprised that it was there. And they also mentioned they knew other, their friends up in Canada still kind of thought of Texas as, wild Indian country on occasion. Like in the Western movies.
I had a cousin from Alabama that her first trip to Texas, she thought she was going to be seeing nothing but tumbleweeds. So
that's not native to Texas.
No,
okay.
It's not.
I mean, most of our listeners probably know, but if you're from outside of Texas, tumbleweeds don't grow here. Those cactuses with the funny arms,
they're not here.
Snoopy, they don't grow here.
No, those are Arizona, the saguaro cactus.
And I also had a cousin that was he grew up overseas because his dad was in the Air Force, so he didn't really grow up in Texas or anything, but he grew up in different places, and he came to visit in San Antonio one time, and he was shocked that there was horses in the city. Just actual horses. There was a stable, not too far from where my church was, and there was horses out there.
Was that a Breckenridge?
No, it was actually off of Vance Jackson. They had horse stables there. It's no longer there. They've been bought out and built up. And,
yeah, I don't think Breckenridge Park has those stables anymore either. But
the only horses I see in Austin are
carriage horses.
Oh,
downtown.
Yeah, those. I was thinking the police.
And the giant police monster horses. Those things are huge.
I want to pet them.
You're not supposed to.
But you're not supposed to. They're working.
Right. They're busy. But yeah, it's just Texas is not a third world country.
No, we have cars and stuff.
We have cities,
Trees, green grass,
fully functional cities.
Well, trees.
very few shootouts.
Well, yeah. No wild Indians that I know of.
I don't know of a lot
Wild
of
Indian is not the preferred nomenclature, dude.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Hey,
Native Americans.
I have a lot of Native American blood in me as well.
You could
Okay,
still
see, maybe that's the trick. I don't feel like I know a lot of Native Americans
You have one
in
living in your
Texas.
house.
That's the only one I know. So I took him. No. Sorry, Joe. Yeah. Okay. So
listens.
our housemate is Native American, but there's not a big. I don't see Native American community here. Maybe it's just because I don't know it because I'm totally white.
Hey, I'm pretty sure it's out there.
But
it's got to be.
But Flavio,
You're not invited.
You're like
I don't get the memos.
native Texan before there was Texas.
Yeah, true. My family, a lot of my family was here before Texas became part of these states.
Before it was its own country.
Yeah.
Like you were here first.
Yep.
So of course you're Mexican.
Yes. Yes, I am.
That's just how people call you, and it's weird.
I mean, but when it boils down to, if you check my blood, I know I have Native American blood from both sides of the Rio Grande. I have Central American Indian blood in me as well.
Okay. So like you're Mayan?
Yeah, or Aztec, or I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't figured out
Inca.
which one exactly.
You're
but
so
I do
tall.
have- I'm shorter than a lot of my friends, actually.
No, the Mayans are very short, broad-shouldered,
Yeah.
barrel-chested people.
And I have to. Well, my blood has been watered down a lot. I mean, but
The Spanish.
yeah, probably from Spain. A lot of from Spain. But anyway, we're straying from the subject.
What were we
Whatever the
talking
subject
about?
was.
Oh, okay.
Maker Box,
Maker box.
Complaining.
So if you want to make an
Texas.
Indian? Oh wait, sorry.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yes.
Conventions.
We're all over the place again.
Sorry.
Okay. What's next
Not
on the
sorry.
list?
I don't know. I'm going to bring up a
Comic
comic book.
book.
I'm going to bring up a comic book. I accidentally came across this.
Accidentally?
I wasn't looking for it. Yeah, I just saw it. It's called The Black Sinister
Ooh.
by Carr Andrews, Choi Nixie, and Dave McKeag. Sorry if I mispronounced your names. It's by Dark Horse Comics. It's a nice little hardback comic. It's not very thick. It was only $10, but this is basically the Dark Horse has an anthology series where they put smaller stories in it, and this was in that, and they just combined it all into one comic,
Okay.
and
So it's a one and done?
it's a one and done. But the only reason I figured out it was steampunk is because I read the back of it, of course, and they're citizens of Coal City, and everything's run by steam and coal and everything. That's what makes
coal.
steampunk. However,
Clean coal.
I'm going to say right now, I really didn't like this comic.
Oh, no.
It's basically, imagine the Tick with the Joker's personality and Batman's sense of justice.
So
It's just crazy. He's crazy. The guy's insane. Okay, he's called the Black Sinister. That's his name. And he's
Is he
just,
stupid like the Tick?
he's a naive, kind of like the Tick.
Does he say spoon?
No.
Or does he use a different
So
word?
he's naive like the Tick. He's crazy like the Joker, and he'll slap justice into you like Batman.
Yeah. He right here is like, he crippled my mother for parking in a handicapped spot. He cut off my toes for jaywalking. I'm stuff like that.
Wow.
But come on, haven't we all wanted to do those things?
That's
Really?
that's medieval.
Yeah, and and he's like somewhere in of course, the mayor and some of the crime lords are figuring out we have to get rid of this guy. He's bad for both of us. And a man in the middle of the comic, for no reason, a man takes a child hostage because he wants to talk to the mayor about something. And they're like, everyone's like, no,
Just call the secretary, for God's sakes.
yeah, and
He's
everyone.
3 blocks down. Just walk over.
So even the cops, even the police are like, stop, shut up! You're gonna bring him. He's gonna show up. We don't want him to come. We'll bring the mayor. Just stop. And the guy goes. He finds out about it and he goes crazy and he flies in with his coal plane, plane run by coal, and he crashes into the thing where the guy is, and he kills the kid.
Oops.
In the plane crash.
What?
It's just crazy. I don't like it. It was dumb. And
Was it supposed to be dumb?
I don't know.
You know, it reminds me of like playing D&D and one of your D&D players
chaotic.
brings over his 12-year-old brother
Yeah.
who really wants to play, and once you let him play, he's just bananas.
Exactly. Yeah. So and somehow that they release some kind of mechanical monstrosity to take him out, and it kills him. He goes to, I guess, hell, and he meets his mom, and him and the kid that he just died. They somehow They somehow make it back to the living.
The kid goes to hell.
Yeah.
That is a sad life for a small child.
They somehow come back to the living, and it's just craziness. I didn't like it, but it was steampunk. It had the gadgets. It had everything was run by. It wasn't Victorian. It was kind of Victorian-esque. It was a place called Coal City.
It was like Weird West.
No.
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 So it's just a mess.
It was a mess. So I honestly,
I don't think I've ever heard you talk about a comic that you hated before.
But the pictures are very steampunk. There's top hats and goggles and bowler hats and all kinds of Victorian-y looking people. And I think I see an Edison light bulb.
Yeah, and one of his when he was going to go save the child that was being held hostage, he goes, "How dare you threaten our future workforce?" That's what he said, kind of thing.
Well,
he was rich, obviously. This guy, that was his concern. Not that the kid was innocent, but that he's the future workforce.
You know what? That's more concern than our current politicians have for us
children.
as a
anyone.
workforce at all. So thanks.
But yeah, I mean, I was reading this like, what the heck am I reading? This is ridiculous. There is one other comic in the past that I remember that I hated worse. But it was supposed to be a science fiction comic, and it was called "What If God Hated Astronauts?" or something like that, or "God Hates Astronauts." And oh my God, I read the first issue of that, and I was like, "This is no." It was bad. It was so freaking bad.
Wow.
That's the only one that beats this one. So,
Wow,
am I not
Flavio.
liking?
Strong words from a man who loves comic books.
He wants his $10 back.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't recommend it. But like I said, it's a nice hardback. It looks nice on the shelf, just sitting there. But I don't recommend reading it.
It's visually very interesting. It looks, it's well drawn. I try to say something positive.
But yeah, I think I ranted enough about that. So that falls under our things that piss us off.
Terrible. Okay. Wow. Bad comic book.
Yeah, but I think you watched the show that you weren't very happy with either.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We can go to this.
So on what else pisses us off today, or are we not liking today?
And we are probably the last three people who have not, up until now, watched this show. So if you're listening, and you're into steampunk, you've probably heard of Steampunked.
Yep.
And that's how it's spelled. Steampunk *D. Is an American television show that came out in 2015.
Like you've been punked.
Yeah.
You've been steampunked.
And as a viewer, I felt like I had.
Yeah.
I hate this show, man.
Aww.
Okay, well, let's explain what it is. It's a competition show.
Yeah, I'm jumping ahead. Okay, it is a competition of a group of 10 makers to create. They break them into two teams, and they build steampunk-themed rooms to go into a house. And every episode, like any of these reality TV shows, someone is kicked out.
Right. Yeah. Elimination rounds, and they pick a room, like the bedroom.
Right.
And then it's okay.
So each of two teams makes a bedroom with junk they find in
It was a very well stocked
the
junkyard.
punk yard, and I guess other stuff that they have access to. They must give them fabric and glues and sewing machines. I don't know.
You're not going to find cloth in a junkyard. Yeah.
And so it's competitive. They have to make each of these rooms in 3 days, so it's very high stress. Mm-hmm. And like any of these other reality TV shows, it's putting people in high stress situations to see them wiggle and
right. They also have to do costuming, I believe, at the same time
themselves.
As well, right?
Yeah. It is hosted by a lady named Jeannie Mai. I'd never heard of her. I'd never heard of a lot of these people.
Oh, she was in Farscape.
She was?
Yeah, she was the silver woman in Farscape. It's Gigi.
Oh. No, she's not. No.
Oh, wrong one. Well, I know she was in it, wasn't she?
No, that's a different show.
Oh, my bad.
That's
sorry. Scratch that.
Totally different show. So, Jeannie Mai, only looking at up her now. She's a fashion expert and TV personality. So she's just the
right. She's the hostess,
the show hostess.
And they had judges.
I don't need her to be a steampunk expert, but I do need the judges to be experts. So they've got 3 standard judges. Thomas Williford.
He's that big guy, right?
He is a tall, broad-shouldered.
We saw him at a little thing in Austin.
Yeah.
He was there for that, and he did a little talk about his steampunk stuff.
Sure. Cato Lambert, who, if you've Googled steampunk on
she's a steampunk model.
Her face will come up among steampunk fashion and sexy half naked women constantly.
Yep, she's pretty out there.
She's very attractive. And a fella named Matthew Yang King, who I'd never heard of before. And in the show, of the 3, he seemed the least steampunk based on his costume and stuff. But learning more, he's done some like short films in steampunk. Yeah,
he was in that one we watched the other night, the Clockwork Heart. That's short film on YouTube.
Right. But mostly he's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of acting cred on his IMDb. And it may be just that the whole idea of judging other people's steampunk stuff just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like competition and judgment.
Right.
That seems to fly in the face of the ideals of steampunk. So like, these 3,
I'm more steampunk than you, kind of thing.
Yeah. That these 3 would judge people on such things. I mean, that's the nature of the show. So I don't.
I mean, I have to admit,
I hated it.
It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I have to admit, some of the rooms are pretty cool that I saw.
Oh yeah, a lot of the stuff they make is cool, and as the show moves forward, you see improvement in the rooms, in the quality that each of the contestants who survive pull together. So that's neat if you can deal with the fact that they're trying to work as teams and be nice to each other.
Their egos got in the way sometimes,
and not be dicks to each other, but they're under a lot of stress, and it's painful to watch, It
was. What I didn't like about some of it, the judges, even though it's their job, it seemed to me like they got a little nitpicky about things, like, why did you do that instead of this? When overall the product was anything better I could ever make, kind of thing, and it's like,
yeah, you're right. It's their job to be nitpicky as judges, but I feel like if I had more respect for the judges in the first place, I'd find that easier to stomach.
Okay.
And I don't like being that one of the people who's just gonna bash on other people's steampunk cred, but that's what this show is about,
right?
So I'm gonna bash on the judges' steampunk cred. Okay, here we go. I don't have much to say about Matthew Yang King because I'd never seen him or known anything he did before until last night, where we saw a short film where it coincidentally just happened to be him.
I was like, you're like, I recognize that guy. Who is he?
And that short film was pretty badass.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, is that the thing he does? That is kind of cool. All right, well,
but it was just that one.
I wish he'd brought a little more example of his badassness to the show and just his dress. But okay, whatever. Thomas Williford, you mentioned we'd seen him before in Austin.
He was
small
the
convention.
Broken Cog, was it?
No, Brute Force Leather.
The convention we saw him at was the Broken Cog.
Corrupted Cog.
Corrupted Cog.
It'll never happen again.
It was a tiny little convention that they were attempting something, and it was a one-shot thing.
But he had ego for days.
Oh yeah.
He was very sure of himself. He enjoyed bragging about how he had publishers had asked him to write books on steampunk making and stuff. And at the time I was like, oh well, he's got books.
Yeah, he was asked,
he builds things
to be prop master on some shows and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And at the time I was, well, all right. So I bought his books and I looked through them, and they're not that big a deal. They're okay.
Are these how-to books?
They're how-to books. Some, here's some projects you can make to sort of as a jumping off point for making your own things. But and they're not anything more spectacular than I could find on YouTube.
Okay.
I didn't think he was he wasn't that big a deal. And that's the only thing I've seen of his actual work, and it just didn't
wow you. Yeah.
No, not really. Not for the amount of self-aggrandizement he was using.
Oh, but you see his girlfriend, that probably did it for him. His girlfriend was there too.
Yeah, I didn't like her either.
Oh yeah.
They were just very holier than thou, and that's what I walked away with. I don't know. Maybe I'm too sensitive.
I don't remember thinking much about him either way, good or bad, last time at that little corrupted cog that we saw him at. I was just like, okay, I guess so, okay.
And the last person was Cato Lambert, who I've never liked. But after watching the show, I like her better. She came across as more personable, because I didn't know anything about her except her.
She's a model.
Her photos and her modeling. What I've learned now is her costume design, her fashion design. She designs these things.
Okay.
But they're very, very skimpy, very...
They're all those steampunk outfits that make you go, oh, honey, where's your pants?
There you are.
Yeah, very suggestive. And that's what sells, I suppose, and that is where her interest lies. But it never felt like appropriate steam pinup
costume
for real people.
Right, they're pinups. Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing you should be wearing outdoors.
Didn't she used to be involved with Dr. Steele? Is she the one that used to date Dr. Steele?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right.
I don't think that has anything to do with this, but yeah, that.
I found a super juicy blog about that whole thing, but that's beyond the scope of today's show.
Okay.
Very, very much gossip there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unpleasant dramas.
Like people do.
Like people do.
So
overall, you didn't like the show. Yeah.
It annoyed me that they were judging these people a little bit. I guess over the course of the show, I came to appreciate them more, except for Thomas Williford. I don't like him. I just don't like him.
Okay.
The people who actually participated, the contestants, it was just painful watching them work and try and fail and get kicked out one at a time. Mm-hmm. The further the show went on, the more you come to like these people, and then they get booted, and it was just, I hate this show. I hate this format. I hate
one of the first things that pissed me off about the show was the first guy that got eliminated. Mm-hmm. You know, when he was given a task.
His name was Tobias McCurry.
Yeah, he was given a task, and he outright said, "Hey, I don't know how to do what it is you're asking me to do. This is not in my forte. Give me something else to do, or show me, help me, or But they didn't help him, and so he didn't do as good a job as he could have because he was learning it on the spot. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure given time, he probably could have learned without a problem. But he had 2 days.
So basically, it was sort of I make costumes, and they were like, "Here, make furniture."
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and he was part of a team that should have been supporting him.
Yeah,
I don't remember what team he was on or who the team captain was,
right.
But there was no support.
Right, and he didn't do such a good job, and then he got booted, so he got screwed right off the bat. Yep.
I mean, somebody had to, I guess.
True, but still, that just seemed like it was kind of
that's not fair.
Sketchy to me.
Throw somebody out because they're. They suck, but not because you give them something to do that they.
So anyway, we have. I mean, I understand that the steampunk community was a lot of makers, but a lot of makers they specialize in a certain thing. They're not able to make everything.
Right.
There are some out there who can, but not everybody.
Yeah, like I think Thax is more of a Renaissance person than most of us, but
stop.
You make a lot of things. Yeah.
Even so, there's.
It did strike me that all of the costuming. So each episode, there were costumes to be made to go with the rooms they were building, and the costuming always fell to the girls.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the girls
they knew how
to make costumes. They had previous experience, but it was always a girl that fell to. And costuming was the first thing I, really got into.
Right.
Like, come on, guys. There's guys who costume.
Yeah, there are.
I bet there are guys who costume on the show, but I didn't see them do it.
Yeah, it's like, I myself, I'm not a costumer. I can't make costumes, but given time, I'm sure I can learn. I mean, I won't be able to do it in 2 days.
Right. So I think the point of this show, the intent of this show was really to be a vehicle for making the people on this show more visible, more well-renowned, to build on their careers in steampunk or in television. Which is fine, that's a perfectly good reason to have a show.
I know one of the female contestants that got close to the end, she was at Steamposium in Seattle as one of the guests there. Mm-hmm. I didn't see her, but I know she was there.
And what I've noticed doing, last minute research for this show, going to IMDb or Google or TV Guide to find pictures of these characters or these actors, these personalities. Most of them, they don't have a picture.
Wow.
On any of these sources.
The contestants, you mean?
The contestants.
Okay.
Or even, Cato Lambert, whose pictures are all over the internet, is not pictured in IMDb.
Wow.
Or Google.
That's fun. That's weird.
Which, well, it tells me that Steampunked was an utter failher.
Oh, yeah.
To get anybody the
credit,
attention in the wider world that they were hoping for. They're just not there. Yeah. Which, to some degree I think is good, because that show
it wasn't good. It didn't look good. It didn't. Yeah.
It was just not what steampunk is about. It's not about judgment or competition.
I agree. Yeah, it didn't celebrate steampunk so much as it just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was opposite of that. It's clashing.
And what rubbed me wrong is Jeannie Mai and the host judges declaring that the person who won this competition and the $100,000 award would be given the title of greatest steampunk maker. I'm like, according to who?
According to the show.
According to, I'll tell you where you can stick that. You people don't have the cred to establish ultimate steampunk
here goes
maker.
Dice with the steampunk cred again.
Well, we have to keep track of our cred because it was threatened to take it away from us at one point.
Oh, Lord.
Another story. We're not even getting into it.
Nope.
We've gone over it before.
But I really liked a lot of the competitors. By the end, I saw them make great things, and I saw them work together and enjoy each other's company, and that was what I wanted to see in this show.
That does not make good reality TV, though.
And that's why they got kicked out.
They reality TV is all about personality conflicts and drama.
Yep.
Right.
Sadly.
So
it's not really about...
And I don't think that fits in steampunk.
That's not what steampunk is about. The steampunk community is the lowest drama community I've ever been involved in.
Right, and this was,
and reality
big television
TV,
trying to make it into a high drama group, which I think would fit better in cosplay.
Yeah.
Which is not not meaning to hate on cosplay, but that seems like they're a more competitive group.
MTV did have a cosplay competition show, and those cosplayers, they got along, even though they were competing with each other. There was no drama. They were all friendly with each other. So,
how strange.
Maybe it's because that culture has more. It is more competitive, that they have learned how to manage competitiveness and still being able to work together and be friends. Which is not to say that I didn't think that the cast of Steampunk lacked the skills to get along.
But the format of the show was trying to...
Was foreign, and
some of them did have stronger personalities than others.
And kind of terrible.
I think that's enough of that. You did not like the show. I did not like the show. You didn't see the show, did you, Erica?
She watched a couple episodes.
It didn't hold my attention at all.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah. I'm not interested in drama in the least.
It's still worth checking out if you have nothing better to do, to see what they make and to see some of these people's talent. And then maybe you would want to follow them on Facebook elsewhere to just see the things they put together, because there were some really talented people here.
Yeah, some of the rooms look pretty cool. Although the end of the competition, they showed the full house, and it's like, well, it was just a hodgepodge of stuff.
Of course.
But I mean, if they had picked one theme for the entire house, it probably would have looked a lot better, kind of thing.
I have no way of critiquing such a thing if you've seen my house.
What's next?
In my job, I drive a lot. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. And when we talked about Steampunk Dollhouse, a couple of episodes ago, she mentioned another podcast called the Steampunk Cabaret. And so I decided to check it out. And I like it. It's basically, they're DJs. These two women are DJing, steampunk music. And taking on personas of these women who are on this airship, and they're DJing the music, and they have these little chit-chats, and they're really funny. I really like them. They have well over 400 episodes. They're taking a summer break right now.
So it's time to get caught up.
Yeah, they're actually DJs. Like if they're not there now, they will be or have just been at Dragon Con DJing a steampunk ball there.
That's cool.
Neat.
But they're funny. I like them, but I've been listening to them in kind of in backwards order. So there's not really a narrative with them, but every once in a while they'll mention something that happened that they talked about previously. So, but you don't have to listen to them in any particular order. And their music, a lot of it I've heard, stuff that we talked about, and that we know, and then a lot of music that I've never heard before. That's pretty good. Although their definition of steampunk music is kind of broad. I think we've mentioned this on occasion. What's the definition of steampunk music? We're still trying to work out to talk to our DJ.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a longer conversation about that.
But anyway, I've really been enjoying their show. They're funny. They're amusing. They have fake advertisements that are fun. On occasion, and some other characters on the ship every once in a while. But yeah, I really enjoy it. So if you like steampunk music, or if you're interested in what they think steampunk music is, give them a shot. Give them a check out. Steampunk Cabaret. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on iTunes and all the other places.
All right, cool.
And they also have another podcast called Steampunk After Dark. Similar, but the music is a little bit more adult oriented, so it'll be more songs about sex and drugs and other unmentionables, but I only listened to the first episode of that one, so there wasn't really the same format. There was they weren't DJing it. Apparently it was one of their boyfriends, husbands, I don't know, somebody else, one of their associates is in charge of that one, but he didn't really say anything like a DJ thing. I think he's just maybe putting it together, because they did mention he was looking for a co-host in their cabaret podcast. So check them out too. I was only able to find that one on Podbeam. I wasn't able to find them on the Steampunk After Dark on iTunes.
I have problems with the search function on iTunes, or just searching for podcasts generally, so that doesn't surprise me. Just keep looking.
Right, so give them a chance. if you want to listen to different types of music that are somewhat steampunk oriented, give them a try. I really enjoy them. And so also, I mentioned, this is the band that I bought a CD as well, and it's a band that I've mentioned before called Ghoultown. They have the newest CD out called Ghosts of the Southern Sun. It's got 13 songs, and it's Ghoultown. They sound the same. They have the same format. They didn't change up too much. Unfortunately, this particular CD doesn't really have a song that stands out. Oh, that's my favorite song. I got to listen to that one a lot. They're all good songs, but nothing that really stands out. Like, this is the best song ever, or of anything like that. But it's still an enjoyable CD. So I've been listening to that one too. I'm going to play one of their songs next after we take a break. But first, we have one last thing from Erica. You have a reading for us. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
go for it.
Yeah. All right. We are reading from the Adventures of Madame Pfeiffer, and she is traveling in Hong Kong, China. Here we go. Hong Kong. On the 17th of May, she left Tahiti, the Dutch vessel in which she had embarked being bound via the Philippines. They passed this rich and radiant group of islands on the 1st of July, and the next day entered the dangerous China Sea. A few days afterwards, they reached Hong Kong, which has been an English settlement since 1842. Here, Madame Pfeiffer made no long stay, for she desired to see China and the Chinese with as little intermixture of the European element as possible. So she ascended the Pearl River, the banks of which are covered with immense plantations of rice and studded with quaint little country houses of the genuine Chinese pattern, with sloping, pointed roofs, and mosaics of variously colored tiles to Canton, one of the great commercial centers of the flowery land. As she approached, she surveyed with wonder the animated scene before her. The river was crowded with ships and inhabited boats. Junks were there, almost as large as the old Spanish galleons, with poops impending far over the water, and covered with a roof like a house. Men of war there were, flat, broad, and long, mounted with 20 or 30 guns, and adorned with the usual Chinese fashion, with two large painted eyes at the prow that they may be better able to find their way. Mandarin's boats she saw, with doors and sides and windows gaily painted, with carved galleries and tiny silken flags fluttering from every point. And flower boats she also saw, their upper galleries decked with flowers, garlands, and arabesques, as if these were the barks fitted out in service of the Titania and her fairy company. company. The interior is divided into one large apartment and a few cabinets, which are lighted by windows of fantastic design. Mirrors and silk hangings embellish the walls, while the enchanting scene is completed with an ample garniture of glass chandeliers and colored paper lanterns, interspersed with lovely little baskets of fresh flowers. It is not necessary to attempt a description of Canton with its pagodas, houses, shops, and European factories. Let us direct our attention to the manners, customs, and peculiarities of its inhabitants. As to dress and appearance, the costume of both sexes among the lower orders consists of full trousers and long upper garments, and is chiefly remarkable for its excessive filth. Baths and ablations have no charm for the Chinaman. He scorns to wear a shirt, and he holds by his trousers until they drop from his body. The men's upper garments reach little below the knee, the women's about halfway down the calf. They are made of nankeen or dark blue, brown, or black silk. During the cold season, both men and women wear one summer garment over the other, keeping the whole together with a girdle. In the extreme heat, however, they suffer them to float as free as Nora Crena's robes in Moore's pretty ballad. The men keep their heads shaved with the exception of a small patch at the back, where the hair is carefully cultivated and plaited into a queue. The thicker and longer this queue is, the prouder its owner. False hair and black ribbon, therefore, are all deftly worked into it, with the result of forming an appendage which often reaches down to the ankles. While at work, the owner twists it round his neck, but on entering a room, he lets it down again, as it would be contrary to all the laws of etiquette and courtesy for a person to make his appearance with his queue twisted up. The women comb their hair entirely back from their forehead and fasten it to the head in the most artistic plaits. The process occupies a considerable time, but when the hair is once dressed, it is not retouched for a whole week. Both men and women frequently go about with heads uncovered, but sometimes they wear hats of thin bamboo, 3 feet in diameter. These are not only an adequate protection against the sun and rain, but are exceedingly durable. Large numbers of Chinese live in a kind of aquatic life and make their home on board a riverboat. The husband goes on shore for his work, and his wife meantime adds to the income of the family by ferrying persons from bank to bank or letting out the boat for pleasure parties, always reserving one half of its accommodation for herself and her household. Room is not very abundant, as the whole boat does not exceed 25 feet in length, but everywhere the greatest orderly and cleanliness are apparent, each separate plank being enthusiastically scrubbed and washed every morning. It is worth to notice how each inch of space is turned to the best advantage, the room being made even for the lares and penates. That would be Latin for household gods. All the washing and cooking are done during the day, yet the pleasure party is never in the least degree inconvenienced. Of course, our traveler was attracted by the diminutiveness of the feet of the Chinese women, and she had an opportunity of examining one of the tiny monstrosities in natura. 4 of the toes were bent under the sole of the foot, to which they were firmly pressed, and simultaneously with which they appeared to have grown, if growth it can be called. The great toe alone remained in its natural state. The forepart of the foot had been so swathed and compressed by tight bandages that instead of expanding in length and breadth, it had shot upwards so as to form a large lump at the instep, where it became, so to speak, a portion of the leg. The lower part of the foot was scarcely 5 inches long and 1.5 inches broad. The feet are always encased in white linen or silk, with silk bandages over all, and they're then stuffed into pretty little shoes with very high heels. To my astonishment, says Madame Pfeiffer, these deformed beings tripped about as if in defiance of us broad-footed creatures with tolerable ease, the only difference in their gait being that they waddled like geese. They even ran up and down stairs without a stick. She adds that the value of a bride is reckoned by the smallness of her feet.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
They don't do that anymore, right?
No, they do not.
I didn't think so. That's crazy. That just sounds painful. How could they walk?
I think even at the time that wasn't considered by all parties or by all cultures in the greater China
Was it just the upper class, you think?
I think so. I'm not an expert.
No, I'm not either.
That requires more looking into.
At the thought of having
They basically break your foot.
Yeah.
And oh wow.
Well, they started on this when the girls are very, very young.
Yeah, so they're torturing children.
Right. Yeah. So you want to start it as young as possible so that the foot doesn't grow. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the perfect Chinese lady foot was called the Golden Lotus, and it was 4 inches long. Geez. I was reading that someplace. So different standards of beauty. But I think in this particular passage, Ida Pfeiffer did a pretty good job of not being a racist asshole. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
give
yeah.
props to that.
She only said Chinaman like a couple of times. Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was good, and it was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I want a houseboat.
That's
Oh, yeah, those sounded beautiful.
They did.
And in my mind, I could see the big eyes on the sides of the boat. Very picturesque.
what river would you put it on? Or ocean?
Any. Just find me one.
We got one right here in the middle of Austin.
There we go.
Have you ever been down the Yellow River?
I'm going to say no.
Who do you think I am, Donald Trump?
Okay. Enough of that. We're going to take a break. I'm going to play you a song, and then we're going to come back with the upcoming events.
At the end of the road, when the shadows are long and the twilight closes in, you must look down deep in your heart, face the frailty under the skin. No deed goes unpunished, no life comes without a finish. At the end of the road, where there's no second chance, when the blood is spilled and your life runs out, there's nowhere left to hide. Confess your sins and tell your secrets, for there is little left of time. No man is unworthy, we're all the same in the end. When your time has come, you pray or repent. Tombstone, only the name will remain. Tombstone, down by your grave. When the cold of the earth opens wide and calls you deep inside, who will be there to remember the time you spent here alive? Memory is all that remains, only a stone with a name. At the end of the road, you draw your final breath. Tombstone, only the name will remain. Tombstone, down by your grave. Tombstone, only the name will remain. Oh, tombstone.
That was Ghoultown off their Ghost of the Southern Sun CD, their newest one. That was the 11th on the track, Tombstone. I've seen them. I used to watch them live all the time. They used to come to San Antonio and played with Flame Chick Subs all the time. I don't know if they come to town anymore. I haven't been keeping track, but I know they've been traveling. I think they were overseas last I saw. But they're a good band. They're a good band to see live. Anyway, what's coming up this month? First off, we have August 15th, the Magic Lantern League. This is by our friend Russ Argo. It's going to be at our normal meeting place, the Sherlock's Baker Street Pub and Grill in Austin, Texas, off of Research Boulevard. He's going to be showing a movie called Adelaide Blanc Sec, The Extraordinary Adventures of. I think we reviewed this one once.
We talked about this last season, near the end of the season somewhere.
It was interesting.
We liked it. I didn't realize at the time, well, it wouldn't have made any sense at the time, but the new movie...
Valerian
that just came out as the same director as The Adventures of Adelaide Blanc Sec.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't he also direct The Fifth Element?
Did he? I think so, because I think it was like that's what he wanted. He wanted that to be his Valerian, but it couldn't be Valerian or something like that. So that's the best he could get. That's the closest he can get to it, I think, at the time. But I really liked The Fifth Element.
I did too.
Okay, I could kind of see.
I remember hearing that story about that's what he was trying to make as close to Valerian as he could mentally or something. But yeah.
Well, visually, I think there's some really similar elements between Valerian and Fifth Element. So, yeah. I'm interested to see this because I didn't see it when y'all did.
Right. Once again, that is August 15th. Starts at 7 o'clock. He may not start the movie exactly at 7 o'clock, but doors open at 7 o'clock.
Doors at 7, movie starts at 8.
And that movie runs just short of 2 hours.
Definitely worth your time. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And on the 18th, what do we have, Thax?
Oh, well, that's CTC Geek Fest, which I am...
Your favorite.
It's my favorite convention of all time. As we talked about how I enjoy college conventions over corporate conventions. This one is hosted by North Texas College. Celebrate all things geek. Don't miss the fun at Central Texas College's Mayborn Science Theater, August 18th through 20th. Our fan-driven event features activities for kids and adults. It is one of the great things about this. It is really free to show up and come in and see the vendors and see the cosplayers and all the presenters that are there. It costs you absolutely nothing. There are additional things going on like videos and movie.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff at this one. I mean, they got cake decorating contests.
Right. But some of the things you have to buy a wristband for, and they are going for $15 in advance through the August 17th.
And it's like to get into movie screenings that they have there. And
then it's $20 at the door if you didn't buy one in advance.
Which is still dead cheap as conventions go.
Yeah.
But we're talking about it because last year, the Central Texas Steampunk Group...
They formed.
There at the convention. I watched it happen. And so they are having their basically 1-year anniversary, and they have their own booth there now to present what they've been doing in this last year. And they were really enthusiastic. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done.
And you're going to have a booth there, but it's not steampunk. It's your other thing.
We are moving in a steampunk direction because I'm kind of interested in that subculture, as you might have guessed.
No, really. Tell me about it.
So I'll be selling some jewelry and accoutrements that are
steampunk starter set.
Steampunk. So yeah, come out and visit me too.
I'll probably be sitting there next to him as well because I've been doing that for the past 2 years.
Sure.
Okay, so we have on the 19th, August 19th, in Houston, the third shindig of the month, Damasi's Mediterranean Buffet. These are the Houston Browncoats. They have a meeting every so often, and this one they're calling it the third shindig of the month. They are going to be meeting on August 19th at 2 o'clock to 5 at the Mediterranean Buffet. They say come and join us for food and fun chats. The cost is about $15 a person. You pay as you enter. It's a pretty tasty Mediterranean buffet.
Yeah, we have a Damasi's here. It is
tasty.
It's very good.
And they also have a little note that says, be sure to leave the kiddos at home. This event is 18 and up. The address is 5160 Richmont Avenue, Houston, Texas. So
if you're into Firefly, and who isn't?
Yeah.
Check them out.
And in the Houston area, for sure. I'm going to be so close. Nope, that's next week. Never mind. I'm not going to be in the area.
All right, then. Never mind.
Things could change. You might. I don't know.
Yeah, my job sends me all over the place. So that's on the 19th again.
All right. August 24th, Thinkery 21 is hosting Come and Make It. This will be Thursday, August 24th, from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Thinkery, which is at 1830 Simond Avenue, Austin, Texas. You can get tickets in advance. If you are obsessed with Pinterest, down to DIY, mad for making, come to the Thinkery 21. Come and make it. Grab a cocktail and a glue gun and enjoy an evening of making, tinkering, designing, and drinking at the Thinkery. There is a huge. I don't even want to read all of this.
No worries.
Last episode, I think we read it all, and
Yeah.
it's just a ton of stuff.
Yeah, there's more stuff than you can possibly do.
And it doesn't seem like
in
they have enough
3
time, the
hours.
time
So
period.
you're gonna have to manage your time carefully and only do what is interesting to you. Austin Homebrew Supply will be there. So that's interesting to me. Austin Homebrew Supply will be there, showing how to make beer, wine, and cheese, pickles, and more. And they will have loads of samples to quench your thirst or ease your hunger. So that's definitely going to be one of my stops at Come and Make It.
But I'm also seeing
I
here
like all those things.
they're teaching cooking. They're teaching you how to make swords and lasers and chocolate and origami
And soap and nail polish and God knows what else. Please don't mix them.
all in 2 hours. So yeah, you're gonna have to.
You have to pick one or two things, and you can't do it all, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sounds like
It's
a
gonna
really
be
good
it's
time.
gonna be hard to choose because it all sounds fun.
Yep. And then the next thing is the 29th. This will be at Elysium Austin. Our friend Aurelio Voltaire and Bella Morte are playing. Tuesday, August 29th, the doors open at 8:30, and the rockin' will be going on until at least 1 a.m. This will be at Elysium Austin, 705 Red River Street, Austin, Texas. $10 advance tickets are available at Secret October. It'll be $15 at the door. Come on out to Elysium and get your goth on.
This isn't his birthday show, is it?
No, I believe his birthday's in July.
Okay, because I know he usually
Or-
comes here for his birthday. And
I think
put
we
on the
talked
show.
about that
Yeah.
in previous
Something.
episodes when he came. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the other band, but I know he's a good. Voltaire's he's a good show.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely worth checking out. If you haven't seen Voltaire before live, he's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I think that's everything in August, but we have a couple things that are going into September now.
We're finally got things started up again.
Yeah.
Summer is clearly on its last legs. September 1st, which is Labor Day weekend, September 1st and 2nd, we have Kyle Pie in the Sky. Our inaugural Kyle Pie in the Sky.
Pie?
I did. Inaugural Hot Air Balloon Festival. Enjoy hot air balloons, many pie-themed activities, and a Guinness World Record attempt for the most people named Kyle or Kylie in one location.
Well, that's none
So
of
that's
us.
obviously
Well,
in
I have
the
a friend
city
named
of
Kyle.
Kyle.
I have a friend named Kyle. Maybe I'll try to get him to go.
Yeah, I know he doesn't leave the house much, but
I'll figure out a way.
sucker him into going.
He went to the Wiener Dog races right
Entice
after
him
we
with
left.
pie.
And yeah, who doesn't love pie? And
In the sky.
had our balloon festivals we have attended in the past have been a lot of fun, and definitely called for wearing your steampunk outfits and gear.
Ooh, it gives me incentive to finish my jetpack. So I can debut it and wear it out there.
Finish your jetpack. And we need to make a jetpack for our new dog.
You've heard him on the show already.
Yes.
And then September 16th, Houston, we are having a steampunk station at the RRM Fall Fun Fest. That's the
Railroad Museum.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Details. We're hosting the Steampunk Station at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum Fall Fun Fest. Come and help, or just come and play. Makers, tables, Wonderland, croquet, tea dueling, parasol dueling, shooting gallery, photo ops, crafts, and more. That is all they've written.
Cool. That sounds like it could be fun.
Let's see. Saturday the 16th, 10 to 5 p.m., rain or shine. Fabulous food trucks. The Texas Flyer trackless steam train rides, bouncy houses, face painting, crafts and games. So definitely
family friendly.
Family friendly. General admission is $8. This should be a lot of fun. We should probably have more information in the next episode before this happens. But
and I believe this is the gang that put on the Bon Voyage party in Galveston for the steampunk cruise a couple years ago.
Nice group of people.
And so, yeah, this is a good bunch of folks. It'll just be fun to hang out with them again.
Yeah,
regardless of whatever else happens.
I don't think they're hosting it.
They're just
they're promoting it.
And
okay. They're the ones who told me about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Rosenberg Railroad Museum actually reached out to them and said, "Please bring your friends."
Cool.
So let's go. This will be cool.
Yeah, let's do it. So
okay,
that's as far as we're going to go into the future and telling you what's going on. But we do have a Kickstarter we want to mention.
Oh yes.
Now I know you've already pledged on this one, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
For the Velveteen Band's second album.
Yay!
They have 16 days to go. In case we're wondering, we are talking. This is August 6th. 2017. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're listening to it anywhere from now to 16 days from now, you can pledge.
Yes.
And they've already reached 200% of their goal.
Yeah, they have.
So this is going to happen. We've seen the Velveteen Band again in Las Vegas.
They were a blast.
Such a good convention. And they are a hoot and a half.
And they also have some pretty cool music videos online too. I've been watching.
Yeah, go to YouTube and look at Velveteen Band. They are fun.
Their vocalist is a
high
puppet.
Energy.
Their bassist is a giant white rabbit.
He also plays trumpet.
They're crazy. And one of the puppet vocalists sounds just like Tom
Waits.
Yeah. So come see a bodiless Tom Waits puppet thing.
Yeah, it's just a fun band all along. I mean, they've already reached their pledge, but if you want to get their album right off the bat, go and pledge.
We have their first album. It's fantastic, and we've played at least one song from that.
Yeah, we have, I believe.
So, yeah.
So, okay, so that should pretty much cover it. Until next time,
mind your gauges. Thanks for listening. This has been the Texas Steampunk Connection. Opening music was The Texas Steer Rag by George Botsford, recorded in 1909.
Please like us on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection.
Where you will find the links to all the topics we talked about in this episode.
Until next time,
mind your gauges.